We can see it.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, like Paul said, there's been a few issues and a few games where referees wanted to check some things, and maybe that official wasn't able to go through it. So I'm going to skip the part of the basic training and how to do everything, because at the end there's no point for you, because very few of you are going to do both table and refereeing. But just in case, I sent Paul an email with more information in case you want to dig and learn something else about the whole digital score sheet and stats process. So basically, what I wanted to show you is how to go back to the plays in case you want to check fouls, baskets, or any action like this. How to check the foul for both teams, and finally, how to add observations, how to check license numbers and stuff like that can affect you in games every week and through the season. Okay. So basically, now my mouse is working, so this is great. Okay, so basically, if we want to check previous actions, if we go to the play-by-play here, okay, you see we have all the actions here, all right? Instead of having to scroll down and check everything, we can filter here on this white bar. So let's say we want to check fouls, all right? Here we have all the fouls for both Team A and Team B. Okay, so we can scroll down to all the fouls. Imagine we're on the third quarter, and I want to check a foul from the second quarter. Sorry, we can check here. Okay, if we go to period, you see we have all the periods here. So if I go to the second period, we have all the fouls from the second quarter. Okay, and we can check players, we can check fouls and number. Okay, obviously this is not the instant replay of EuroLeague and NBA, but it's pretty helpful, I think, because we can filter for teams as well. So if there's a controversial play or something, we can know if that happened in that quarter. Okay, if we're not sure, imagine for example, I don't know if number 32 was on the court at this moment. We can check substitutions as well here. So we know 32 was in the court at that moment when that happened. Okay, so if we have any questions on that, we can check. Obviously swaps as well, substitutions, anything you want to add you want to check in this case is technicals and sportsmanlikes to see if a foul was registered as an unsportsmanlike. You can check as well. Okay, so we see that here there's no unsportsmanlike, but we can check anything. All right, so technicals and stuff like that. Basically, yeah, I think this is something you may check more often for fouls and this stuff. Obviously, you're not going to check assists or blocks. You can check 2-pointers or 3-pointers. So imagine you said that it was a 2-pointer, and the table official, statistician in this case, registered that as a 3-pointer. You can check more or less the minute or the quarter, so you can see if it was correct or not, in case we suspect or one of the coaches complains that the score is wrong. Okay, we can check. Well, you can also see up here the team fouls and timeouts. Okay, and we can check also for timeouts in case we suspect that one timeout was called on the wrong side. We have timeouts here as well. Okay, so we can know with the help of the entire table if a timeout was on one side or the other side, that this may be an issue as well. All right, at some point. With the play-by-play being said, we can check the fouls as well. Okay, so if we go to either Team B or Team A, you see we have all the players here, and well, every white dot is a foul. So we can check if we're not sure if a player has a technical, if a player has an unsportsmanlike, or we're curious because I know sometimes from doing the table, sometimes you referees come to the table like, is someone on foul trouble, maybe in the second quarter or third quarter, or has someone on a sportsmanlike or a technical? If you want to keep track of that, you can do it as well. So if you want to check between quarters or halftime about this situation, know that you can do it by pressing Team A or Team B. Okay. And finally, to check, okay, if we go to menu down here, you see that this little menu shows up where we can add observations, okay, during the game. If you want to add something during the game or in halftime to save some time for later, you can do it. So if there's an ejection or an injury or a technical foul and you want to record it at the moment, know that you can do it during the game, okay? You can check the score sheet in case you want to see if something is incorrect. You can check the score sheet as well. Okay, you have all the information like it was a paper score sheet. All right, to know if a player is on the score sheet or not. We can check that as well. Give me a second to go back. All right. What else? If we go to menu, well, you can check the box score, the stats, if you want to check as well. And you can defer or close the game, but well, this is usually done by the scorekeeper or the statistician in this case. But you can also go to game information. Okay, if we go to game information, we can check what players are on the score sheet and what players not. Okay, and if we want to check the license number to see if we suspect that a player is not eligible to play, or if one team complains about that, know that we can check it as well. Okay, for both teams, Team A or Team B, here it's the license number. We can check the coaching staff to see maybe there's a random person sitting at the end of the bench and we don't know who it is, and it's not on the score sheet, so we can send him to the stands or out of the gym, wherever you consider. And we can check more players if necessary. To then go back. Oh, sorry. All right. So yeah, and again, you can defer or close the game at some point, but I think this is pretty much all you need to know about this. Again, I've sent Paul more information in case you want to do it, just to be a bit more secure. You can check the document at any time. And if you want to use me now for any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks, Jorge. Yeah. Has anybody any questions? Would we be confident we'd be able to go in now if we have a question from a coach to check any of what you've just said?
Paul and Jorge, I just have a quick question. I'm not sure if we have any commissioners on the call today. The observation option, I believe it's a really good one. Is this something that commissioners are using during the game? That, let's say, as you mentioned, fight, rejections, any unusual situation that happened during the game, that in most of the cases as the referees, we are on the court, so there's no time to go back to the table and speak to. Is it something that you're aware that commissioners on the games when they dare, are they using this option, or usually it's blank?
I know in the games that are commissioners, commissioners send their report, and I think, and I have in mind that because when we take the database, we can see the games where there's observations, okay? So I have in mind that in some games, there's observations of these aspects, or if, well, usually it is because, the app stopped for a few seconds or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's reports about these of unsportsmanlike fouls in that second or any injuries. I'm pretty sure they're doing it, okay? But just in case, you want to make sure, know that you can, at the end of the game, check it, okay?
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Jorge. Katrina?
Hi there. My question was, would it not be for the scorekeeper to assist us rather than us being overly familiar? Do you know, if there was a question, is it for us to be able to go in and do it? or is it for the scorekeeper to assist us being part of the technical crew? Or is it just for us to be familiar rather than taking over the NBN?
Oh, it's for both, Katrina. If a query comes, if the table official who's doing the NBN knows how to go in and do that, happy days, they can show you that a file went on 14 twice with 25 seconds to go. There's your error. But we're finding that when people ask referees, they're shying away from it. The referees are shying away from actually addressing the issue. And then, as I said to you, feedback from some referees is they've gone to the odd NBN23 operator and they don't know. So it's for them. And for us, it's a case of if you do go to the table to check something and the NBN operator says, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that, that you do.
But is it okay for us to take control of that, us being an actual on-court official, to kind of not interfere with the NBN, but to kind of go in and start going into the actions or the menu?
Like, you can ask just ask the operator to do it for you. You just show them how to do it.
Oh, just show them, yeah. Don't take it and start pressing buttons. Okay. Perfect. Great, thanks.
I have one question, if I can, please.
Nicola, yeah, go ahead.
If, let's say, we start using these observations and everything, which is shown here by Jorge, is there a possibility that this program, that kind of that everything that happened during the game that we've seen here can be sent to us, let's say if we have technicals and sportsmen, like everything that we need kind of write reports on and everything, if we can send, let's say, that information to us, let's say to our personal email or something, so it would help us after the game to write down the reports.
So you mean having access to all the actions during the game?
Yes, something like that, because here in when we have some situations in the game, we need to write reports and everything, and then if we would add all of this information, player names, reasons, or even if we ask that something is put in observation column, maybe that would be easier for us to write them reports,
Yeah. Okay. When we close a game, basically all the information, as you know, goes on Swish. All right. We can't provide everyone with a premium account, but I'll make sure I have a conversation about this with Basketball Ireland to see what we can do here, because maybe it is helpful that you referees can get this to have access anytime, the same as you have the access to Basketball Ireland TV. I think it could be a good tool for you as well for after games, so you can check that. So yeah, I'll definitely write that down and have a conversation with Basketball Ireland to see if they can help us provide you with that.
Very good. Two more so far, Pal.
Yeah, I was mainly wondering about it's known that NBN23 cannot register specific situations. If something crazy happens, like disqualifying an assistant coach, how should we register that? Just with an observation, or what's the way to go about that?
So, you mean disqualifying an assistant coach?
Yes, you cannot put it in the score sheet.
Yeah, like you can go, if you go to technical foul here and disqualifying, you can
not put a disqualification on the assistant coach, because
you can put it on the bench, not straight on the coach. But yeah, you can register as a disqualifying for the bench or a technical for the bench, and just write down like assistant coach for team B was ejected for disqualifying or for 2 technical fouls. That can be written down.
I've tried it and it doesn't work correctly on the score sheet, because it should be registered as a technical foul on the head coach and disqualification on the assistant coach, and that's not possible. Okay, I'm going to write that down as well. For example.
Yeah, like I understand what you mean, because at the end, honestly, these are situations that we don't count on, but yeah, they can happen. So I'm going to write it down and ask for that. to our.
Basically, what I'm asking for is a procedure. If something like that happens that cannot be registered, what do we do?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I'll definitely ask for that and send it to Paul so you can get that information as well. Because honestly, yeah, like I thought it could be done by that, but again, I've never experienced that situation. So yeah, I'll make sure you get an answer for that and a way of doing it, obviously.
Oh, thank you.
Until we get the answer, don't disqualify any assistant coach, please. Thank you. Linda?
Thanks, Jorge. That was really interesting. So, Paul, you mentioned that if a person, one of the operators, the score operator, isn't familiar with making a correction, we were shown how to check things, but we weren't shown how to correct anything in the demonstration. So how do we correct if there's like an additional foul given that shouldn't be there, or a 3-pointer that should be a 2-point? How do we correct things on the NBN if we have to instruct someone who doesn't know how to do it, Yeah.
Okay, so basically, you see here all the actions. All you have to do is press on the action, and you can edit it or delete it. So imagine in this case, it's a foul for number 9, and I want to edit it. Imagine it wasn't on number 9. We decide it was on number 8. We change it, and that's all we got to do. And if there was no foul, because imagine this can happen. For example, the scorekeeper registers a basket, but there was a trouble before, or there was a foul and the basket didn't count. All we have to do is go to the action, and I'll have so 3-pointer here, for example, delete it, and that's all. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Any last questions? No? Great stuff. Jorge, thank you very much. Thanks for giving up your time. This is recorded anyway, so I will send everybody a recording of this part just to help along. All right, Jorge, thank you.